I get on the door. I sit on the floor. Next time. I will be eventually. Oh.
I'll get your.
Is ALBK.
Yeah, so then you have to get out.
What?
Do you want to do?
Okay.
I'll put it in. That's all. All right. Good. Oh, okay.
They in the lobby, and we have the TV out there watching that stuff. Yeah.
It's in the lobby. It's not a huge place. It's just the lobby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, you got the chair, the couch, 2 or 3 more chairs. So I grabbed that chair I grabbed for Barbara was one.
And Bob? Yep. I'm in the town. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the July 21st meeting of the Chatham County Board of Elections. We have all 5 board members present and accounted for, so we have a quorum, and I'm calling this meeting to order. There are going to be a couple of changes to the agenda that has been provided to the board and hopefully some members of the audience. Going to be adding after number 5 in order of meeting and old business heading, and the item for old business is a vote to formalize a minority voting plan submitted to the North Carolina State Board of Elections. Be some conversation associated with that line item. And then in new business number 4, vote to make closed session minutes on the May 19th, 2026 public record. We are adding, there were some, not necessarily, they're not minutes, they're summaries. We did summaries for April 21 and May 19, so we're adding April 21 and to that line item. Are you okay with that? Second, all in favor?
Second.
Okay. Moving on. Minutes from the June 16th meeting. Thank you for everybody involved, for Nick and Erica, for this work, listening to the recording, getting it right. Going along, everybody on the chance to review that. Do you have any comments, any suggested changes?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we are now at the portion of our meeting where we typically have public input. We have a lot of members of the public here today. And if you have some comments, some questions that you want to ask, please stand up, identify yourself. And if you know it, tell us what precinct you're in.
Just do it.
Yes, ma'am.
We can keep talking, yeah.
There was a sign up sheet when we came in, but
Well, there is other things, but
no, I signed up, but I was here, but signed up to speak. I didn't.
don't have one of those.
Hi, my name's Terry Landers. I'm in the North Williams precinct, currently living at Carolina Meadows. And first thing I want to do is thank you for allowing us this time to speak. And second thing I want to thank you for is all the work that this board has done, past boards have done, the election office and staff. You guys are fabulous. You do lots of work. You've been dedicated. And I've been watching you all for a very, very long time. In fact, the first time I actually came to a meeting here, Pandora was assistant director, Dawn was director, and the topic was Sunday voting. And we had a wonderful discussion, and the board voted to support Sunday voting for Chatham County at that time. And that was my introduction to being involved with this whole process. And I am disappointed that we didn't have the chance to talk before you voted on the plan in May, but I'm glad that we're having it today. And we just had one Sunday voting day for a very, very long time, at least one. In fact, all the statewide primaries and general elections have had at least one, if not two, since 2020. And in fact, in 2022 and 2024, the fall elections, we had 2 Sundays available. The citizens of Chatham County think of Sunday voting as part of early voting. It's just become part of the fabric. It's consistent for them. It's what they expect and what many of them need. A lot of people have work obligations or family obligations or religious reasons where Sunday is important for them because other days don't work. And so they've come to rely on it. The primary, we had Sunday voting. To not have Sunday voting in the general election after we had it in the primary is going to be confusing to people. And it's inconsistent. That's one of the things I know this board has always looked at is consistency and reliability and making sure that the voters don't get confused. So that's another reason why I think Sunday voting is a very important thing. We will have, of course, a higher turnout in the fall than we had in the primary. And if we take away a voting day, we're going to highly likely end up with longer lines. Again, that's one thing you all have worked so hard at to try and make sure that the citizens aren't stuck in these long lines. You've tried to balance everything and make it work well. So I know that you've had extreme partisan pressure statewide to totally eliminate Sunday voting. The elephant in the room, we know it's happened, but we don't have to do it in Chatham County. I think we all know that Orange County didn't. The Orange County Board of Elections voted unanimously to support not one, but two Sunday voting days of voting. So I think we in Chatham County can do equally as well and support our citizens and ignore the partisan pressure and do the right thing for the citizens of Chatham County. I've always been so impressed at the dedication of this board and the elections office for doing the right thing for Chatham County. And I think we should take the opportunity to do it again now. So to support the mission that all eligible and qualified voters should have equal an opportunity to vote, Sunday voting is important. So I respectfully request that you revisit the plan and include Sunday voting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comment they'd like to make?
I would like to know why you maybe Sunday voting.
I think philosophically, it's been an issue where one party has wanted it and one party hasn't, and that's pretty consistent for a long period of time, and control of the board's changed. So one party's priorities have taken priority. That's all.
She makes a great point that people need to be able to vote, no matter what your party.
Well, I hear your point. These issues have been addressed back and forth a lot at the board and at the state board over the years. And I think there are good points to be made on both sides. That being said, yes, ma'am.
From what I can tell, only 5% of the voters voted in Sunday voting. So it seems like there's such a low turnout. It might not be the best investment. That's, I think, for a lot of people. That's a lot of money to spend to staff from 5% of the votes.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Susie Craig.
Say again.
Susie Craig.
I'm a little hearing impaired, so.
My name is Susie Craig.
Thank you.
Are you getting this audio? Is it coming through okay? If they're in the back of the room?
You want me to come up to the podium?
Yeah.
Happy to.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity to say something. My name is Susie Craig. I'm in the Bynum precinct. And 2 points I want to make. There are many people in Chatham County who do not have the privilege to vote anytime except on Sundays. There are many people who work several jobs, they have big families, they have obligations, and Sunday is the only possibility for them. I'm also a poll worker and I have worked on Sundays. And there are a lot of people who vote on Sundays and they are grateful to give Sundays an opportunity. So I'd like to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sue Blaylock. I'm chair of the Chatham County Democrats. I hadn't really planned to say anything tonight, but I do want to respond to the comment about only 5% of voters voting. On Sundays, the polls are only open for 3 hours as opposed to the much longer hours on other days. So I actually, not surprisingly, ran the numbers. And voters per hour historically, when you go back to 2022, when you go back to 2024, are often higher on Sundays than they are on Saturdays. I didn't compare with other days of the week, but I just wanted to provide that information.
Thanks. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Greg Stewart, and I'm a registered voter in Hickory Mountain Precinct. I want to thank you all, actually, already been done this evening for the work that you do. I know that voters tend to see you and think about voting at election time, and probably don't realize that this is all going on all year round. So I think that it would be an opportunity for them to come and learn for themselves all the work that you all do. I know that this is about process, about politics, and so I'll keep my comments brief, but about process. At the May 19th meeting, I saw the 3-2 vote take place. It seemed to sort of surprise some folks and came up rather quickly. I would have commented about that during the June meeting, but the video for this meeting became available only 5 days ago. And so I didn't have a chance to go and look at the meeting again, and then also look at some of the graphics that were shown that I think illustrated some really important points. There are a lot of issues, and we heard a lot of this discussed already about early voting. But without looking at any of those issues and just looking at the numbers, I did take a couple of screenshots from a video that showed this heat map that was prepared by the staff that shows hour by hour voting from 2022. And I think it's pretty impressive in terms of the turnout for Sunday voting. And so in looking at that in hourly, of course, this heat map shows the darker colors that illustrate the greater numbers of hours that have taken place on Sunday as opposed to many of the other hours that are available. But then distilling that into a day-by-day average of all of those hours, it's pretty plain to see with the Sunday voting days in purple that voting was pretty heavily utilized just by looking at the graph. And I used a ruler and looked at it, and the first Sunday of voting, that hourly average was greater than 5 other days during that 17-day period. And if you look at the second Sunday, the average hourly turnout was greater than 8 days throughout that 17-day period. So even though maybe there was only 5% of voter turnout for, I'm not sure what year that was, perhaps back in the primary, but looking at this where there were 2 days of Sunday voting, remember that relatively low percentage by their diagnosis or analysis was spread across the full or averaged in with the full 17 days of voting in the case of 2022. So just looking at the numbers say that Sunday voting is utilized. It is important that citizens of Chatham County deserve the opportunity to vote on Sunday.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you everybody for your thoughts and comments. A lot of them are very thoughtful. Appreciate you. Moving on into our new old business item, which is a vote to formalize the minority early voting plan that has already been submitted to the North Carolina State Board of Elections. After our vote at the May meeting, the majority plan was submitted to the state board. The state board came and asked for the minority plan, and Member Heisey provided what the Democrat minority plan would suggestion would be. So that's been submitted to the state board. And Nora or Chance, do you want to give any procedural input about how that process works? going up to the state board when we want me to do it.
Even as far as, having the hearings.
Yeah.
Usually what's happened in the past, they will send us an email, give us the dates. They will hear each county's, have the hearing, and one person from each party will, have an opportunity to plead their case to the state board. And then the state board will make a final decision, but also sometimes they will allow for like public comment or have, where they can send in, comments to, the office, and then we would send it to the state. If you support whichever plan you support. We haven't received that information yet, so, when we get it, I will let you know, and we'll let the parties know, so. If you have an opportunity to make comments. You can do so at that time.
So, and either, depending on the date, the dates for that meeting have not been set yet. We have not been notified what they are. Either I or Bob or Lloyd or Erica will go to present each side's plan. And then the state board will consider those comments and our arguments, and they will vote. That being said, or would you like to present? The minority plan?
Yes, the minority plan was never voted on. Was to be open one Sunday. Before you can put that up on the screen. Just want to make sure everybody understands what option 2 is.
Is it the
I'll put it in the one for today, Marvin.
2 options?
Yes.
So option 1 is what majority voted for in May, which has no Sunday voting and try to compensate for some of the lost hours on Sunday by adding in extra hours on Saturday, starting at 8 instead of option 2 keeps the Saturday hours we've had in the past, but has one Sunday, October 25th. I thought it was 12 to 3, it's 1 to 4. As I said, we never got a chance to vote on that. It just passed us by. Because we believe that we will have a chance to submit a minority plan, and that there will be an opportunity for the public to weigh in on their preference between the 2 plans. We tried to let the public know that if they had comments, that they could submit them to me, in this case, at my Chatham County NC.gov, NC.gov address. And that message went out on Sunday, and I've received 119 emails so far from probably many of you, this from others. And I wanted to briefly summarize what I've seen in those emails, and also to say that there's no limit. We can receive more if there are more people that want to send in comments. Some of the comments are ones that have been made already this evening, but I think it's worth repeating since they came up frequently in the letters that came in. The first was that Sunday voting has become an expected option in Chatham. We've been having it since 2020, so people expect it. Given the limited hours on Sundays, we've had excellent turnout at many of the polling places on Sunday. Sunday voting provides an option for people who have 6-day work weeks, or many people cited family obligations that they have on Saturdays. They have young children, they have T-ball, they have all kinds of stuff going on that keeps them from using Saturday as a day to get voting done. I've asked Pandora about whether the VOE staff has complained of stress when they have Sunday voting, and have been told that no, staff is not complaining about any stress
by having early voting on Sunday. I also want to make clear that this is not from the voters, but just to make clear, and we've made this point before, that all poll workers can opt out of Sunday voting if they don't. It's always an option, and we're very good about making sure that people don't want to work on Sunday. Another point people have made is that this is likely to be a high turnout election. People are concerned about the economy. It's a national issue. People are excited about voting. We have a senatorial race in this state that's likely pivotal for national elections, and people are excited about that. But don't want to be voting. So it seems a poor time to be limiting our voting options. I would also add that there is a lot of confusion right now about what's going on with the Postal Service. And the state board is still making new rules about how to handle absentee ballot mailings. The latest new rule that I just heard about today is that if you fail to seal the inside envelope that contains your ballot inside the postal mailer, the local board can reject the ballot. That hasn't gone through the rules committee yet, but it passed out of the state board. So there are going to be complications with, and we also have problems with mail delivery times, post office these days. It seems likely that there will be more people that will be looking at other options rather than mail. People made the point that adding Saturday hours at unlikely times for people to vote is unlikely to compensate for the hours that are taken away on Sunday. It's hard to imagine people coming to vote at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning after they finished their work. So the 8 to 10 time is not likely to do much for us in terms of voting turnout. We could be surprised, but on the other hand, Sunday voting has been impressive. Eric and I have been debating this, and I'm not sure I have their support on this, but I would like to make a motion to supersede our May vote for those Sundays, and instead adopt an early voting plan that is option 2, the Sunday vote. And I'd like the board to discuss that. At least vote on option 2 as an opportunity to rethink the May vote.
Second. Can I get that again? Or I could get it off.
You restate that, Erica?
To supersede the May vote for the no Sunday early voting plan by adopting option 2 as Chatham County's early voting plan.
It's just proposing option 2 again. Okay.
Well, let's change. I would move to change the motion to just be a straight up vote for option 2, not to supersede. Our
Option
vote.
2 again.
Right.
That's an amendment. Is there a
Amendment to
second?
Or don't we have to vote on whether to do it? And then if we vote to do it, then we would vote on option 2. It would take 2 motions, right?
Yes, what I'm suggesting is
Just the one motion.
Right.
Option 2.
right. This would be the motion to approve option 2 as the majority. Is essentially what you want.
That's what I wasn't sure about exactly what the format was for how to do that, but that's what I would like to have. It's a vote to consider option 2 as the majority. Or as the vote.
Okay. And you're going to second that, Erica? Okay. Any further discussion? Right.
So I'd like to rebut one point that member Heise just said. I think I heard you say that there was no undue stress by our staff on working on Sunday. And I would add that at this meeting in May, I spoke up that let's compensate by adding Saturday evening hours to 7:30, just as we do the rest of the week. And I had pushback from staff in this meeting that they didn't want to work Saturday nights. I take that as indirect statement that this stress on the video and it's on the audio.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say, we didn't want to stay open 7:30 on a Saturday, because after 3 o'clock, the voting goes down. And if we are here, all day on that Saturday, we could take those same hours and come back on Sunday at 1 o'clock, because we have time to rest. And that's what I was thinking.
Any other comments? Okay, call the motion, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Have our minority voting. Officially. Well, that's what it is, that's what they proposed, and so it's not the majority, but it's their plan.
At least the plan is now been voted on.
Right,
Okay, and we gave that to be the minority plan, so we're good.
I'll make another comment.
no,
So I'm gonna go back to 2020. In this meeting, we were in the minority, the conservatives were in the minority. And every voting cycle, we had the debate that we're having today. And every voting cycle, we were, Chuck Ramos, who was Mr. Tyson's predecessor, was a champion of anti-voting on Sundays. And every voting cycle, Chuck Ramos would stand up and say, no, we shouldn't vote on Sundays. And Chair Heisey at the time said, yeah, we're gonna do Sundays. So we had that debate. And then we never voted on a minority plan for 6 years. Now all of a sudden we're voting on a minority plan.
well, we did in 2024.
All of a sudden, Ramos would prepare a presentation for the state board and should. Member Heisey would prepare a presentation for the state board and it'd be done. They didn't do any of this for the minority stuff that we're talking about today. And now all of a sudden the landscape's changing for some reason. Well, maybe it's because we have 3 votes. The landscape changed in what, 24 when conservatives got 3 votes.
Well, no, because Lori Heisey was still chair in 2024.
So it's 25.
Right.
So that's part of the dynamics in the room, and the conflict never had this. Ramos would just go to the state board and plead his case, and we lost every time.
I just wanna, I was there during all of this too, and I distinctly remember that his reason for not having Sunday voting was 1000% religious. He said it was the day of the Lord and nobody should vote on the day of the Lord. And we all responded to him that not everybody observes Sunday as their religious day. And it's fine for you not to vote on Sunday if you don't want to, but people who do not observe that way should have the same option. And that he was very adamant on that every single time.
Any further comments? Yeah. Moving on into new business. We have director's report. Chance, are you up first?
I am.
Yes.
All right. So campaign finance. So the campaign finance reports for 2026 second quarter were due into office by July 10th. We currently have not got a report back from a candidate. I'm still reaching out to them to get the report. There will be a late penalty, but they can always appeal the late penalty if this is their first offense. The second quarter reports are due from candidates that are going to be on the ballot this year. So if you know the candidate's going to be on the race, they got to do quarterly reports for this year. And we have a 2026 mid-year semi-annual report that is due on July 31st. This is for candidates that have the reports open, but they're not going to be on the ballot for this year, but are going to be running in 2028 or in the near future. Currently, voters registration stats, I'm going to have Marvin pull that up and let you all see what the current stats for the county are. That's, not the correct one, this one, Mark.
One precinct.
Yeah, about precinct. Yeah, be our staff. All right, so currently scroll down the bottom.
Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, yeah, perfect. So currently we have 64,358 registered voters in the county. Of that amount, 20,955 are Democrats, 31 Green Party, 298 Libertarian, 14,993 Republicans, 28,081 unaffiliated. Currently unaffiliated are the largest party in the county.
Joyce, before you move on, I'm gonna ask a question, yeah, now be prepared to answer. Do you have any clue what the year-on-year percentage growth rate is over July of 2025?
I don't, I can get that for the next board meeting.
Okay.
I have that for the next board meeting. We'll go back to the original report that you first pulled up, Marvin. It shows you kind of a little bit of our growth rate by month, shows you how many by the party that we're adding. In June, we had 346 new registrations. Of those, 96 were Democrats, 63 Republican, 185 unaffiliated, 2 Libertarian. And as of today, July, we've had 192 altogether new registrations, 54 Democrat, 40 Republican, 98 unaffiliated, and we've had nobody register Libertarian or Green this month. Yes.
We see changes in registration, Republican, unaffiliated, or, any of those changes.
Well, we can generate a report at the office, but the state board has all that data. We can generate a report on their
So
website.
we wouldn't see this here.
No, this is a spreadsheet that I've made.
Yeah.
We can get that report out of report now.
And on our website, we update it monthly of the current stats of the voter registration for the county if you need to see it. But as we also register voters, also remove voters monthly. So we're going to head on to our next report, which is list maintenance. And as you can see here, for the month of June, we had 4 duplicate removals. We had 60 death removals and 2 felon removals. And as in right now in July, we've had 3 duplicates, 32 death removals, and 0 felons. So that's where we stand at for our list maintenance. Any questions on?
Nope.
All right. All right, so we're going to move on to the next office updates. So we had some big news. As you may have seen on Facebook or in the media of the county, we did an iVoter sticker contest. I hope everybody enjoyed that. We had 10 great stickers from the community to celebrate America's 250 years of celebration. And our coworker, Alec, who was in the office right here, and Sarah Weber presented at the Chatham County Camp in Silk Coat. And Sarah and Alec gave a presentation to the kids about voting and the process that goes into it. And they all casted what was their favorite 4th of July activity. And I can't remember, Alec, do you remember were the fireworks at one or hot dog?
I want to say it was definitely close between fireworks and food.
Okay.
But I want to say that it was definitely fireworks probably won by a slim margin.
Oh, okay.
But like it went up fireworks, and the last group, food won by a landslide. I don't know, everybody just loved their food there, but and it was the older kids, so I can understand why they loved their food.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So-
It was probably lunchtime too, right?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely close to lunchtime.
So this is our first time that we have done this in Chatham County, because usually when you go vote, you get the I voted sticker, just a regular I voted flag, but we wanted something special and something that we want to continue to do. I know that Sarah's preparing sort of certificate to give to the student that won. Has already contacted the parent and they were very excited. So we will make the announcement and show you all the presentation of this on our next board meeting in August. So if you want to see the winner of this contest, please come back. We'd love to have you all back, and we'll have the chairs for you. So we'll be excited for that. But I will say that out of the survey that went out, we did have 436 votes. So out of the public, so the community was engaged in this process. And so we're excited about that. Lori, I'm gonna move on to pivot, but Lori talked about absentee, and I will talk to you about the new absentee updates. So at the State Board of Elections, July 20th meeting, they had changed some of the rules. But one of them is with the absentee ballot envelope. And that is the envelope that is inside with a plastic seal on the outside. And if the envelope is not sealed or looks to be open, we're not able to accept it. The board can reject that. And we'd have to send out another ballot to the voter. If the inside envelope is open. Yes.
I'm not clear if you're saying you cannot accept or the board can or cannot
Well,
accept.
so usually the staff can review it. So now it goes to the board and the board would reject it if it's not open. They have to by the new state guidelines or state board guidelines.
So we have the opportunity to send them another ballot, though, we have.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We issue ballots. Used to the old process is that if I see this, I would go ahead and reissue the ballot to the voter. This way, the board has to reject the ballot and then issue another ballot to the voter. As you all know about the FPCA, never resident voters, so they're not able to vote for North Carolina races, so they have to get a specialized federal ballot in North Carolina going forward, and that is some of the changes that we've had for the absentee process. And then my last thing before I give it over to Pandora is election staffing updates. So we just concluded an interview process for the election assistant position, and we're currently in a candidate review process. We have also posted an election internship position. So this is the first time that we have got an internship. We partnered with the county, and we reached out to UNC, school of government, and also the master's program. And we've had some candidates reach out to us and apply. So we are excited to have an internship join us from August to the end of this year in December. So we'll start reviewing those candidates here in the next few weeks. And then, yes,
Is that a budgetary issue or are they free?
no, they are paid hourly,
They're paid.
but it's calculated in their temp salary line,
So it's paid by
the county.
by the elections budget?
Yes, in our tip salary budget.
Who's gonna supervise the intern?
Sarah and myself. So we'll take turns supervising. We got projects for them to work on. I know Sarah's already making an outline for, she's gonna plan to bring them on board. So. And then the poll worker application, for anyone who's never worked the polls before, you have to apply through NeoGov, and Alec has posted that to get posted at the county website starting tomorrow. So everything goes as planned. If you want to be a poll worker, the poll worker application should go live tomorrow if everything goes according to plan. All right, so. Oh, I can't.
Full worker application, did I hear you say you can do something on a website or something?
So yeah, so the onboarding process is through
Onboarding.
NeoGov, and that's where you, like any new hire for a company that needs to be paid, for tax information, your pay stub. So you get like your direct deposit, we need to have a checking account, we need to have your social security number, because you are a county employee, and this is how the county processes that.
So what if they walk in the front door right here and say, I want to be a poll worker, I'd like to apply?
Well, first,
What happens?
as you know, that the party has to make the recommendations, that's to be approved by the party chairs.
Yeah,
And so if it's approved by the party chairs and they're a new poll worker, they would get the link to Alex's poll worker application. And then they would submit the application information to there.
they get the link.
Yes,
How do they get the link?
it's on our county
Or
website.
you tell them, and they walk in the front door here?
Well, so these people have to be nominated. Either they come in and the party makes a recommendation.
So the party, they walk in and say, Joe Godfrey, I'm a Republican, Joe Godfrey recommended me, I'm here. What do y'all do?
Well, then Alec reaches out to the person with the contact information that we received and follows through the NeoGov process to get them on board.
Okay.
This is the same process we've had with the paper
Yeah,
application.
it's some.
It's just generally online now. Chatham County has backed away from using all paper applications. We use everything is done through the NeoGov system. And if any poll worker has trouble filling out the process, walks them through there. He'll spend.
I think they are in and out in 10 minutes. It doesn't.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, they're in and out.
You're gonna say, come into my office.
Yeah, it's not a long process at all.
But yeah.
I'm more than happy to help them.
But Joe says approve it.
All right.
So we were having this conversation before the meeting started. As you'll see, we have a lot more early voting chiefs, judges and assistants than we've ever had before. Alex is gonna have to onboard a lot of people, if assuming they can't really negotiate or navigate the NeoGov process. So we just need to know how smoothly that process goes this year and maybe
Yeah.
even try to batch people as if they were in training.
Mhm.
There are a lot of folks who are confused.
Yeah,
But you just need to keep Pandora and chance surprised to whether it's becoming a problem.
right.
And it could be a lot of volume.
Yeah.
All right, so I do have one more statement. So we have a Facebook page that went live and Sarah and Alex have been working on it. Marvin, if you want to bring it up. So if you want to join the Chatham County Board of Elections Facebook page, we have updates on there when early voting starts, where our board meetings are.
I don't know where the
You just
login.
type in Chatham County Board of Elections.
Just search. Didn't I send you like one time? I sent it to. Forward up my phone.
You just type in Chatham County.
So I can go run to my office and send you a link real quick.
Board of Elections, Facebook.
Yeah. I think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
There you go. So that's a new Facebook page. We're right now at 64 followers. So if you want to go to Facebook, please follow our new page. And it shows you some of our stickers right here.
Which one won?
You get to wait till August. Wait till August.
Also, Marvin, show them the thing you made with our. Yes, that's good.
It's just a picture.
Oh, yeah.
That, yeah, Marvin made that.
Janice, I remember when we debated having a Facebook page before,
Yes.
one of the things that was a concern was how much input we wanted from the public on the page. How do you handle that?
So right now, anybody can comment, for following county guidelines. We haven't had any comments or anything negative.
Does the county screen the comments?
So right now, we can screen the comments.
So you'll see them before they get posted?
No, but
So are the comment, so I'm Facebook illiterate, okay? Are the comments anonymous?
no.
Okay.
So, see, anonymity to me emboldens bad behavior. If in this meeting, someone stands up and says, I'm Stu Blaylock and I think blah, 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 we all see it. Or I say something stupid, you all see me saying something stupid. That anonymity, I don't like that. You're gonna get some people hector if they can be anonymous.
Well, we hope we don't get to that point. If we do, we have to bring it on. Yes.
I just want to say, I think for the greater good, it's such a good, I'm a follower, I'm one of the 60, whatever. Like the first page, I think this Board of Elections is so engaging with the public that we can't be afraid of something like that, and not having to be part of the public. The sheriff did turn on comments, and if something were happening, they should be come to that point, but right now, I think the benefits outweigh anything like that. And yes, people can post anonymous. So it just has to be monitored, but these kids these young people are, these young professional board of election staff are very engaged with this. They have not created this and that. I believe there's.
And I just want to say to the caveat to Frank, you can't argue this. If we had no comments, then how are we going to engage with the public? But someone can ask, what early voting site? I need questions about voting. And that's a way for them, if they have another option, to ask a comment through Facebook. And that's a way for us to respond back. So let's look in the positive light too.
So who on the staff is going to be monitoring?
Alec is monitoring and,
So that's something you look at every day.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, I check it every morning, every day.
So tell me what's gonna happen when you get 364 messages rather than 64, and then 3,064 messages rather than 64. Is it gonna consume you?
It's followed.
That's the,
So what I'm suggesting is we keep track of how much time he's spending and we put it in the budget for next year, so we may need a Facebook devoted guy. Really?
Well, I have most of the posts already made and typed out, so really like during the busy time, folders and logistics. I have a calendar set up for when this post goes out, when we want to post, and I already have it made, so all I do is just copy and paste. So I
Well,
did that.
don't go blame it. If it consumes your time, that is, what we're saying here. People are saying this is valuable, we may need to be paid reimbursement.
all right, we're ready to endorse the high five.
All right. Moving over to plan person,
Okay.
section of the director's report.
All right. So, the first thing, I'm just gonna give an update on, the 34,000 deceased voters that were found, during the SAVE Act of Social Security Administration as having a status of deceased, after a recent check of the state's voters using that federal SAVE database. I have a report here, keep that up there, Marvin, if you don't mind. The data is broken down by the following: the county, the political party, the gender, race, and the ethnicity. And the three registration statuses are active, inactive, or removed. So active means the voter is active and there shouldn't be any issues with their registration when they go to vote. Now, unless they made a move or something within the county. Inactive means they're eligible to vote, but they will have to verify their address when they present themselves to vote. And then they'll just be able to vote a regular ballot, like the other voters. Removed means they have been removed from the voter roll.
That's the one.
And on the, should be a second, I put the second page. Yeah, there's a second page with the statistics on it. And this is probably on the State Board of Elections website. I don't know if we have a link on ours or not to this, but if anybody would like a copy, we can.
So we said there are 235 in Chatham County.
Yeah,
You don't,
as you see in Chatham County, that's how many showed up as, most of these people, were out of state. And they made a assumption that probably most of these people lived at the border of like another state, like Virginia, or because they crossed over, but we don't get notification from the state that the person has died. But if they die in the state, we get reports from the Department of Health and Human Services. We also get something from the Register of Deeds. But normally we don't get a lot of things from other states.
so we haven't processed any of this
Yeah.
at this point.
Right.
We're waiting for further information and instruction from the state board.
Yes. And I think they found like 1,599 illegal, people registered as illegal. But they're not doing anything with that either right now. They're gonna work on a process for that. Okay, so moving on, we have an update on the West Alva City precinct. So the West Alva City precinct line changes was approved by the state board. I got the letter today. It was approved on July the 2nd by the executive director, Sam Hayes. And if you look at the box there, it looks kind of weird because I got nervous and thought that they merged West Alva and East Alva. So I panicked and I called them. I said, that doesn't mean that the precinct is merged. We had to change the numbers, but we had a couple of voters who got encompassed in that line change. It was only like 2 voters, I think, or 3 or something like that. It's a very small number. That's why they had to change the numbers. And East Alva City is not merged with West Alva City. So all of that, this the numbering will be changed on our information. So, the state board also updated some numbered memos. I just wanted to give you those numbered memos and what they were actually, what they're actually pertaining to. So numbered memo number 2022-01. This is the protecting the certain voter and election security information. These numbered memos can be found on the State Board of Elections website. Numbered memo 2025-01. Changes to voting for military and overseas voters. And numbered memo 2025-03. These are procedures when identification numbers do not validate in the voter registration database.
So, there's staying with these old, prior year, the original numbered memo numbers, they're not
Yes.
reissuing
Yeah,
them.
they're just updated.
26, whatever.
Right, they're updated.
So when you go online, some will actually be wiped out. They're going through a long project. But to the extent that they are remaining valid, they are just updating them, and then if you go online, you'll see, the original was issued whenever, and it says updated as of the particular date.
Okay, so, I'm just gonna give you some important dates and deadlines. Soil and water conservation, the filing started June 8th, it ended June 6th. Richard Hayes and John Lawson, both incumbents, came in and filed. The Chatham County celebrates America 250. Our office, did go to the celebration, we set up a booth. We also, it was at the Ag Center on June 27th. We did one photo ID and we did 3 voters, updated their information. So we did make some progress there that day. And several people stopped by and asked a lot of questions. So we enjoyed it. It was fun. And of course, the early voting claims are due July 24th. We've already submitted ours. Petition, the write-in signature sheets along with the declaration of intent submitted to the North Carolina State by noon on Wednesday, August the 5th, 2026, which that will be the 90th day before the general election. I know we have one write-in, somebody who has requested to be a write-in. Bruce Coble, he has enough verified signatures, but we have not received all of his paperwork, so we're still waiting to get his paperwork in, which it has to be in by August the 5th, 2026. He's been notified. And, so we'll just see, if he'll bring that in. Our summer conference, of course, the State Board of Elections is holding for staff and board members, August 9th through August 11th. It's at the Sheraton in Greensboro. I have your tentative agenda here. I think I sent you an email today that has a link. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, you do it in that survey, especially if you don't want nobody to know who you are. So I think that was one reason why they did it, was because some people don't ask questions, because they don't look like, in the whole forum there. And then they may want to just have the answers ready whenever they get there. And of course, that's the part where it's about ask legal. So if you want to do that, then of course you do it in that survey that I sent, that link. Be ready to go there. That's all I have.
Thank you, Pandora.
Welcome.
Any follow-up comments on Pandora Chance's report? Hearing none, moving on to the next item, number 2 on the new business, which was the vote to amend the delegation of director duties and responsibilities. So everyone in the room is aware, last July, when the new board took over, we adopted delegation of directors' duties and responsibilities, and it details in various categories, item by item, what the director is responsible for and the scope of his or her responsibilities as the case may be. It's a year later, and in informal discussions with individual board members, we thought it was appropriate to revisit one particular item in those director duties. And I guess the rationale that I would give for this is, arising from my experience on other boards, is to increase the director's responsibility for hiring and firing in accordance with the provisions of the memorandum of understanding. right now, the existing delegation of duties says that subject to the board approval and the memorandum of understanding with the county that our director will will make hiring and firing decision. What we're proposing to do here is to make this position, have more power consistent with what we would normally see in a board, which is that the effective CEO has the authority to hire and fire. And the highlighted provisions in the page in the board packet basically say that the director will hire and fire election personnel consistent with the provisions of the memorandum of understanding. And what that means is that director is required to follow county personnel policies, which are fairly stringent, and there's a lot of procedural due process in there, if you will. And then if there is, and ultimately inform the board of any disciplinary actions taken with respect to election personnel. And if there is a complaint or an appeal, it then comes to the board in accordance with the memorandum of understanding. So we're giving the director a little bit more flexibility and power, nevertheless subject to us being involved, us being informed, and ultimately, you know. And with that, I would, yes, ma'am. You want to move? I'll second. Can you change that seven out of it?
Yes, we sure can. I'll assist
Correct the typo.
I say to make the motion, I move the adoption of the revisions to the document.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. None opposed? It is approved. Now I want to introduce the next item on the agenda here, voting to approve election officials for early voting. I want to actually congratulate party chairs. I don't know how many of you in the audience are aware, but the party chairs have a tremendous amount of responsibility and control over who is nominated to sit as chief judges and assistants at our polling places. We have already, last August, approved chiefs and judges, and not assistants yet, but judges and chief judges for election day. But every election we have to appoint judges and chief judges and assistants each time around for the early voting sites. That's what we're doing today, and the two party chairs have done yeoman's work in coming up with lists of folks who are going to be serving as chiefs, judges, and assistants. And I will just say, I know Sue Blaylock's in the room. Thank you. It did a really nice job. Joe Godfrey is not, but Sue's got a list of 147 chiefs, judges, and assistants that have been submitted for the Democrat Party, and Joe Godfrey has compiled a list of 105. This is by far the most judges that we've ever had. And the great thing about it is that we have some senior people who've been serving a long time, but this is all about strengthening the bench for both parties. So we've got people who are going to be gleaning experience and becoming experienced judges, which means that our election processes are going to be running better than ever. That's the idea. So I don't know if any of the board members have any comments about these lists. They are fairly voluminous. Do you help me go? If there are no comments or discussion points, I will await a motion to approve these lists overall, because it's basically all got this to approve them. We have to approve from their list based on statutes. We both sometimes. So. Are you commenting or
Discussion.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a comment. I'll make a comment about,
Hold on, we'll do the motion and then the discussion. So I'll move the adoption of both fully compiled lists. Okay, discussion.
so discussion, you've got fully compiled lists, and I thought that the thing I want to bring to the forefront, we've had where we got election on November 3rd, and the week before, we found out that our chief judge decided to go on vacation, or consistent went on vacation. They should only stand down unless there's a family emergency of some serious, I would feel. I don't need to mention this to be displayed like that, I guess I am, but I'm mentioning it to the whole group. That, you know, that's 6 months from now, landscape can change, family dynamics, illness, et cetera. But, casually standing down, those are hiccup. We start scrambling for a bench to replace something to think about.
So Frank, what I will say is that we did have the party chairs come in for a meeting with me and the staff. And in addition to just laying out what the basic statutory requirements are to serve as an election official, to really make it clear what this is. And we've had a lot of people who bail at the last minute for a whole variety of reasons, mostly legitimate, but if people have been maybe thinking at it a little more seriously, they would have committed to do this. So I think the party chairs have been urged to make that really clear. To everybody who talked to you about serving as a judge or a chief judge or an assistant. And in addition to that, the fact that we've got the numbers that we do now, in the event that we have people who fall off, we still are going to have more than adequate numbers of people to serve at health further voting sites. Yes, ma'am.
On one of these, we have election day assistant. Is that a typo?
No, what it means is, and Sue may want to jump in and explain, but I think they're being nominated to serve as assistants, and I think that they're also probably available on election day, if that's the case, right, Sue?
Correct. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any further comment before we vote? All in favor of these two compiled lists? Unopposed? Thank you very much. I like we got your work cut out for you.
I'll get it first.
Yes, you do. Okay, and our final item on the agenda before we adjourn, we had two closed sessions, one at the April 21st meeting and one at the May 19th meeting, which were the purpose of which was to discuss a personnel issue. And that personnel issue has been now positively resolved. And therefore, we're able to make those minutes, well, they're not minutes, they're summaries public, so they'll be made available and visible on the website, assuming we vote to make them public. And I would ask for a motion to make them public.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Both of you. Okay. And if there are no further issues that anybody wants to discuss, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I need you guys to sign this, please.
So don't move quickly.
A motion we adjourn.
What is it? It's the.
Amendments to the delegation of duties. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you, everybody, for coming.